Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Nicolas Cage, the many lives of Hollywood's most fearless chameleon. Few actors in modern cinema inspire as much fascination, debate, and enduring admiration as Nicolas Cage. With a career spanning more than 4 decades, Cage has built a reputation as Hollywood's most unpredictable performer, capable of moving from intimate character dramas to bombastic action films. From eccentric indie projects to major studio blockbusters, his range is vast, his choices daring, and his screen presence unmistakable. Early life in a Hollywood legacy. Born Nicolas Kim Coppola on January 7, 1964, in Long Beach, California, he belonged to one of Hollywood's most prestigious families. His uncle, legendary director Francis Ford Coppola, and his cousins Sofia Coppola and Jason Schwartzman were already part of the industry's creative fabric. Determined to forge a career independent of the Coppola name, he adopted the surname Cage, inspired partly by the comic book character Luke Cage. From an early age, he aspired to a life in acting, experimenting with emotional expression and dramatic technique long before he stepped in front of a camera. Breakthrough and rise to stardom. Cage's breakout arrived in the 1980s with roles in Valley Girl, 1983, Birdie, 1984, and Raising Arizona, 1987. Performances that showcased his gift for blending vulnerability with offbeat humor. Directors were drawn to his willingness to take risks, often pushing scenes into unexpected emotional territory. The 1990s cemented his legacy. In 1996, he won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his devastating performance as an alcoholic in Leaving Las Vegas. Almost immediately afterward, he reinvented himself as an action hero, starring in films such as The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off. These roles turned him into an international star and cultural icon. The actor without fear. What sets Nicolas Cage apart is his philosophy of acting, what he calls nouveau shamanic, a bold, highly expressive approach that rejects realism in favor of raw emotion and imaginative intensity. This has led to moments that critics describe as Cagean, a blend of operatic passion, unpredictability, and theatricality. Rather than seeking safe roles, Cage has consistently gravitated toward characters with depth, conflict, or eccentricity. Whether playing a treasure hunter, a sorcerer, a medieval knight, a weary father, or even himself, Cage brings commitment that transcends genre. Career challenges and reinvention. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, Cage faced well-publicized financial difficulties, prompting a period of non-stop work. Though some projects were modest or unconventional, this era produced hidden gems such as Joe, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, and Mandy, the latter becoming a cult sensation for its stylized violence and Cage's unforgettable performance. Rather than diminishing his reputation, this relentless output contributed to the creation of an entire online subculture devoted to his unique acting style. Memes, parodies, and homages elevated him to pop culture legend status. A celebrated comeback in recent years, Cage has found new critical acclaim. Pig, 2021, a soulful drama about a reclusive chef searching for his stolen truffle pig, earned rave reviews for its quiet, profoundly human performance, proving once again that Cage's talent is as powerful in restraint as in excess. He continued experimenting with form and self-reflection in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, 2022, a film in which he plays a fictionalized version of himself. The role revealed not only his self-awareness but also his ability to embrace the mythology that surrounds him. A legacy still in motion. Nicolas Cage's career defies easy categorization. He is not simply an action star, dramatic actor, or cult favorite, he is all of these at once. His influence on acting, pop culture, and internet folklore is equal parts eccentric and profound. Above all, he is an artist committed to exploring the full spectrum of human emotion, whether through whispered intimacy or explosive theatricality. As Cage continues to reinvent himself with each project, one thing remains certain: no one else in cinema does it quite like Nicolas Cage. An artist devoted to the craft. To understand Nicolas Cage's enduring appeal, one must look beyond his filmography and into his creative philosophy. Cage does not view acting as simple imitation, he sees it as a transformative art. Influenced by silent film performers, German expressionism, and avant-garde theater, he often describes his style as operatic and mythic, aiming for heightened emotional truth rather than realism. He embraces risk where most actors seek safety. If a character requires intensity, Cage pushes it further. If a scene calls for subtlety, he finds humanity in stillness. This duality, unrestrained yet thoughtful, is what makes his work endlessly compelling. Signature performances through the decade's 1980s, the birth of a maverick during his early years, Cage quickly distinguished himself through eclectic roles. In Valley Girl, 1983, he became a romantic lead for the MTV generation. Raising Arizona, 1987, directed by the Coen brothers, showcased his knack for physical comedy and emotional sincerity. Films like Peggy Sue Got Married and Moonstruck further proved that he could embody both quirky and deeply emotional characters. 1990s. From serious actor to blockbuster icon, Cage began the decade with intense dramatic roles, then achieved his career peak with Leaving Las Vegas, 1995, winning the Oscar, Golden Globe, and SAG Award. Following that triumph, he surprised Hollywood by pivoting to action, yet excelled once again. The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off remain classics of the genre. His ability to reinvent himself, from tragic antihero to larger-than-life action star, is a cornerstone of his legacy. 2000s. Versatility and vigor. Cage continued to explore widely different genres. He brought emotional depth to adaptation, 2002, playing both Charlie and Donald Kaufman in a performance that earned another Oscar nomination. Meanwhile, National Treasure, 2004, and its sequel made him a family-friendly adventure hero. At the same time, he embraced experimental and darker roles in films like Matchstick Men, Lord of War, and Werner Herzog's Bad Lieutenant. 2010s. The cult revival this decade saw Cage become a symbol of bold, independent filmmaking. Mandy, 2018, showcased his most intense performance in years, a hypnotic mix of grief, rage, and surrealism. Films like Joe, 2013, Mom and Dad, 2017, and Color Out of Space, 2019, further cemented his status as a cult icon. 2020s, resurgence and reinvention. Cage's career reached a new artistic renaissance. In Pig, 2021, he delivered one of his most critically acclaimed performances, proving once again that he can captivate with minimalism as powerfully as with spectacle. The unbearable weight of massive talent, 2022, allowed him to embrace and satirize his own legend, blending humor, self-awareness, and heartfelt emotion. Personal life, passion, challenges, and reinvention. Cage's personal life has been as eventful as his career. Known for his intense curiosity and eclectic tastes, he has collected rare comics, exotic artifacts, and unusual real estate, including a haunted mansion in New Orleans. Financial struggles in the late 2000s forced him to sell many assets, but the experience ultimately motivated him toward a creative revival. He is a dedicated father and has spoken often about how becoming a parent deepened his emotional approach to acting. Despite public scrutiny, Cage has remained resilient, treating every career obstacle as an opportunity to reshape himself. Cultural impact. The legend of Cage. Few actors have become such multifaceted cultural figures. Cage is both revered and mythologized. His performances have sparked memes, academic essays, internet compilations, and passionate fan communities. His unpredictable career choices have turned him into a symbol of artistic freedom. Cage has also influenced a new generation of performers who admire his courage to go big, to commit fully to every creative impulse. Directors frequently cite him as an actor who transforms a film simply by appearing in it. Whether he is whispering a line with aching vulnerability or screaming in operatic fury, Cage makes audiences feel something, and that is the heart of his appeal. A legacy still being written as Nicolas Cage continues to evolve, taking on new genres, experimenting with form, and embracing both indie and mainstream projects. He remains one of Hollywood's most passionately discussed actors. His legacy is defined not by predictability but by fearless creativity. Ultimately, Cage represents the purest form of artistic risk-taking. He reminds the world that cinema is not only a craft but a place for emotion, imagination, and bold expression. And as long as he continues to transform himself on screen, audiences will keep watching, debating, and celebrating the legend that is Nicolas Cage. Inside the Cage Method, a unique approach to performance. Nicolas Cage's acting philosophy, often described by him as nouveau shamanic, is rooted in the idea that an actor should channel emotional energy rather than mimic everyday behavior. He dislikes naturalistic acting, preferring heightened expression, bold choices, and stylized movement. He has said that he draws inspiration from Kabuki theater for its dramatic gestures and visual intensity, German expressionist cinema for symbolic movement and exaggerated emotion, silent film stars like Lon Chaney, whose physicality conveyed meaning without dialogue, comic books, which shaped his understanding of archetypes and mythic heroism. This unconventional blend results in performances that are either deeply moving or wildly unpredictable, often both at the same time. Behind the scenes, famous Cage stories and transformations. Cage is known for his total commitment to roles, often going to great lengths to create authenticity or unusual emotional effects. For Leaving Las Vegas, he spent time with people struggling with alcoholism, recorded drunken speech patterns, and allowed emotional exhaustion to permeate his performance. For Vampire's Kiss, he reportedly ate a real cockroach twice for the film's surreal transformation scene, explaining later that he wanted the moment to feel viscerally unsettling. For Ghost Rider, a fan of supernatural mythology, Cage insisted on tattoo-like markings and ritualistic preparation to portray Johnny Blaze's darker side, though this intensity was later toned down by producers. For Face Off, Cage and John Travolta studied each other's gestures and speech patterns for weeks so they could convincingly swap identities on screen. These extreme commitments are part of the mythology that surrounds him. Stories of intensity, eccentricity, and artistic dedication. Cage the action star versus Cage the character actor. One of Cage's greatest strengths is his ability to exist in two worlds simultaneously. As a blockbuster action star, he brings charisma, physicality, and emotional stakes. Films like National Treasure, Face Off, Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds, and The Rock made him a global household name. As a serious dramatic actor, he delivers performances filled with deep vulnerability, such as in Adaptation, Pig, Joe, The Weatherman, and Leaving Las Vegas.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.